Hi, my name is Heather Martinez. Welcome to Lettering Tips Tuesday. We've been live all month of the month of May. I wanted to let you know that I will be dropping out, but I will be still hosting Lettering Tips Tuesday with some recorded sessions over the next couple of months. I'll be covering Neuland hand and all of the different variations and ways that you can do it. I actually have sort of a Neuland 2.0. So if you've been watching my Unlock Your Neuland Markers and learning the Neuland script from there, wonderful place to start. Really great way to help you get your pen manipulation down. I actually have a new version that I've been using and recording with for a year now. So I'd love to share that with you. Just want to go through some quick announcements. The most exciting piece that's on my project list right now is that I have designed a pin, and actually two pins. You may have seen it on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. And I was asking people, do you like option 1 or option 2? And it was split. And so I'm going to go ahead and design both. And if people are interested, you can go to the Kickstarter campaign. It's bit.ly/ABC XYZ pin. Or you can, if you're already on Kickstarter, just Google me, my name, Heather Martinez, and you'll find that project there. I'm really excited. I launched it last night, did sort of a soft launch and texted some of my closer friends, and I met my goal in 6 minutes. So it's definitely gonna happen, but if you wanna get a pin, go to Kickstarter and check that out. If you tuned in last week, or if you didn't, you can see how in an interview with Sandra Dirks that I covered how to add a serif to nearly any lettering style. And we used 7 different Neuland marker tips. That's on Neuland's Facebook page. You can go to Facebook and then Neuland.com, and it's in the videos section. And this is part of the anniversary tour that Sandra Dirks has interviewed myself, Kelvy, and Brandy. So check that out. It also comes with this download, and it's about an hour-long video, and we cover all these lettering styles in a half an hour. We don't go through every single letter, but I talk a lot about techniques. If you joined me last week, or if not, we had a special guest on the show from VersaChalk, and we covered different VersaChalk markers. They've got 2 different markers and also a lettering style, and this exemplar is also available for you to download if you'd like to use it. I figured out all the different ways that I can letter with my friends at EuViz. If you're interested, please join in the Neuland Raffle. You can be part of my 2-day workshop prior to EuViz. It's about a $1,300 value, and they're giving that away. Go to neuland.com/raffle, and I believe the deadline is May 31st. Now, you'll have to pick a workshop, so if you'd like to letter with me, be sure to pick mine. But to guarantee your spot, if you go to bit.ly/EuViz letters, I believe there's 1 spot left in the workshop, so you can still get a ticket for that. I'll also be taking one-to-one sessions, lettering sessions by the hour while I'm there, just in the downtimes. And I am teaching a breakout session, and I'll be teaching how to letter like a sign painter. So check that out. Something exciting, you may, if you have already taken a class from me online or in person, you received an email from me last week. Now, probably not the Unlock Your Neuland Markers, but any paid classes. And so I'm offering, if anyone's interested, and I'm opening it up to anybody watching this video as well, you don't have to have taken a class with me before. I am teaching 3 lettering styles that are going to be a part of my book. I'm writing a book, and I want to include your work. And so if you're interested, email me right away, because I'm having a session this Thursday. There's 3 sessions, or 3 different lettering styles, 2 sessions each. So there's going to be 6 sessions. They're free. There's lots of people signed up, so I'm really excited about how many people will be involved in that. And what you get out of it are these new practice sheets on how to write in 2 different lettering styles. We have a slab serif style, and I have a thick thin style. So you'll get both of the exemplar and the practice sheets. Whew, we have a lot of announcements today. Remember, you can always go to letslettertogether.com if you want to letter with the masters. That's an ongoing class that's been extremely popular. And of course, Write Like an Architect. I've got some great feedback this weekend that people are saying that it's improving their lettering style, their handwriting, and it's really fast and fun to use. And so before I get into the program of the day, I wanted to talk about how I prep for gigs using Appreciative Inquiry. And this is a template that I use for all of my client work. And it's available online for free through Gumroad. And I will also put that link in the video. But before I do, I wanted to invite any questions that are coming from who's tuned in or also from online. So who do I have? Go ahead and unmute yourself and let me know if you have any questions.
Hi, Heather.
Hi, Birgit. Welcome to Lettering Tips Tuesday.
Yay! I have one question. I've been doing the lettering with the masters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting, and it's given me lots of inspiration and and new lettering styles.
Great.
But I'm noticing that when I'm doing graphic recording,
Mm-hmm.
I keep falling back on my usual.
Yeah.
So how do you have any tips to like free me from my standards?
Yes, yes, this happens to me all the time. So a couple of things. First of all, and people hate to hear this because we're graphic recording and we're going really fast. And the first thing you have to do is actually slow down. I will find myself, I'll be graphic recording in one lettering style and then it'll morph into something else. And it's like, oh, what just happened? And I find that if I practice, and what I mean by practice, I mean, it's not just rote practice, like I'm sitting down and I'm writing the same thing over and over again. But if I'm practicing using a lettering style on different projects, like maybe I take something like how to write like an architect and use it on some flip charts, and then maybe use it when I'm journaling or use it when I'm just filling out my, my day planners or bullet journaling or something like that. If I use that over and over and over again, then I find that I won't lose it when I get to the wall. And so I don't like rote practice. People have heard me go, like over the year, they've heard me say, practice, practice, practice. And then other people have heard me say, don't practice, put it to work. And there's somewhere in between. And if you can make practice fun by making a project out of it, maybe writing out a big long poem or something that's interesting that you could give to someone or post on Instagram, then that's practice too. I wouldn't recommend making a whole page full of letters. I would say start putting them in words. That would be the best thing. So I also limit my lettering palette. And what I mean by that is so many people want to learn lots of different styles, but when I'm graphic recording, I usually graphic record using 2 styles. And my go-to is Neuland Hand and How to Write Like an Architect. And if I haven't thought about what lettering styles I'm going to use, I'll just do those 2. And then I don't forget. I don't drop out of that. When I start to think, okay, what do I want to add to it? I think the best way to add a variation without losing or adding an actual lettering style is to increase or decrease your X height. So you know what I mean by that? Yeah. And so when we talk about X height and we have the baseline and the X height, the ascender and the descender, wherever we have that X, it could be high or it could be low or in the middle, whichever one. But I will play with the height of my letters and the height of that X height. So that X height is, say I have an H here, and I'm going to do a medium X height. It's going to go like this. A low X height is going to look like this. And a high X height is actually going to look like that. Now that looks kind of funky. It's not very readable. I wouldn't use it as much, but it's a way that you can add or emphasize with your existing lettering style. Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
There's like 3 different answers there, right? There's slow down, practice a lot, but make the practice fun by putting it into practical application. And then the third is to change up by using variations rather than adding a whole new lettering style. So don't try to add too many lettering styles unless you're really good at it. But I personally like to limit it so that I can control it. So I don't really have to slow down. It's kind of like
me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah. Anything else?
No, for me it's okay now. Maybe I think there are more people asking questions, right? Or you received them in advance? Yeah,
I have some. I have another question that I got asked yesterday, and I thought I'd bring it to today's session, and that is about titles. Someone wanted to know what's a fast, easy way to make titles, because titles can be very time consuming. And so you've heard me say this a lot. I say use if you're going to go large, use the tool that it was intended to go large, and that is use a large marker. So use a big one, use a fat one. I don't have a fat one handy, but if you're using acrylic, make sure you use the big one. Use these to make your titles. And I personally write my titles. I don't draw my titles. And so the larger marker that I use, the faster I can write it. So if I really am focused and I can visualize how I want my letters to look, and I know about how long they're going to be on my chart, then I can just pick up a marker and write it. It's not a problem. It takes time to draw it. Now, the second thing I recommend is that if you want to draw really big, and say you're using like a 30 millimeter, but you want there to be the white of the paper is the title and to have color around it. And you can see the example behind me that says white space. And I'll be teaching this technique on Thursday. Is I use a hack. I hack my 30 millimeter and I put 2 pencils on it to create that white part, and then I draw around it. And so I didn't actually draw any of those letters. I wrote them just like I would with a big one, but I used 2 pencils taped to my fat one to do that. And so that was a really fast way to write a title. And then, of course, if you want to fill your titles, I highly recommend Ben Tinker's fill and construction video that he's done through Lettering with the Masters. He doesn't cover a lot of different fills, but he gives an exemplar with, I think, over 16 or more different fills that you can emulate. And he also talks about how to construct letters, large letters, and how to look at those letters. He also provides another exemplar of when you construct a letter, what are the areas that you start with, and that determines the size of the letter. And then he shows a couple of different fills. He shows a facet fill, which is used a lot in sign painting, and then also a picture fill. So how do you fill your letters with pictures? And so those are 2 fast ways or not fast, that second part isn't fast, but those are ways to make titles. So something else I'd like to cover today, like I said, is how I manage my meetings through using Appreciative Inquiry. And so on the screen here, you can see that this is a template that I've used. I've actually printed it out on 11 by 17 paper, so I have lots of white space around it here. And I use this in a discovery meeting. I usually write with a pencil. So I'm going to grab a pencil here. And for me, if I have a little time to do research before the meeting, I might write what the mission, the purpose, and the goals of either the meeting or the organization is. And if you're familiar with Appreciative Inquiry, there are 4 areas of the process. You have the discover or discovery part, you have dream, design, and deliver. And I believe in co-creating. And so what I do is I use this chart to ask the kind of questions that I need to get the information from my client. And so I start with, what is the need? I'll find out what's the need of the client. And that's when they really start unpacking their backpack. This is the part where I get some inside information. Maybe it's from the person that's giving me information about their organization or their team. They might talk about some of the problems that they're having. Because I'm an Appreciative Inquiry facilitator, I don't focus on problems. I'm not even interested in fixing problems, because we believe that the more you focus on problems, the more problems you have. And so let's move beyond that. And so I'll at some point here in the conversation, oh, there's a time to switch. And it might be that if they get so negative or start looking at the problems, I'll say, what is it that you want? What is ideal? What would you like to get out of this meeting? How do you see it? What's the best possible scenario? And so then they get excited and they go, oh, let me tell you. And I can start writing down their desired outcomes. Here's what they want to get out of it. It gives me a sense of what they really want. From there, they'll get to a point where if they talk about this too much, a lot of people get uncomfortable with the idea of dreaming. Then they will say, okay, well, we've got to get to solution. And so what I'll do is I'll say, okay, let's start designing it. And I love to co-design. And so what I'll do is I'll be talking about logistics. I'll say, okay, what's the time frame? What kind of timeline are we working with? Where are we going to be meeting? As a visual practitioner, I'm asking questions about the space. It might be what kind of wall space do you have? Because in most cases, I end up using one space to do all my drawing, but then I need plenty of room around the room to hang up my drawings. So I need to know, do I need to bring a wall? Do I need to build a wall? Is there a wall there that I can use? We'll also design activities. And I will ask maybe questions about the group, like, are they authentic with each other? That might help me decide, do we need to have a conversation about conversations and team building? And I have lots of different techniques that I use, both appreciative inquiry techniques and also just graphic facilitation and facilitation techniques that I use as well. And then the last part is deliver. And this gets down to the nitty gritty. Where does the rubber hit the road? How will we know if we were successful? You know, did we meet the need? And so maybe these are some, goes from desired outcomes to more like success criteria. So have we met the need? But then also notes to myself like, okay, so we're going to meet Monday through Tuesday or Monday through Thursday, and then I'll have Friday as a production day. So I might write that down. I'm going to photograph all the charts. I'm going to clean them up. I'm going to write a narrative with a deliverable that I give back to the client, and any other tools that come up while I'm facilitating, whether it's an action list or something like that, that helps them create a tool going forward. Sometimes I make some working documents for them, set them up so that they can populate it for their next meeting, so that they can keep the momentum from a really great meeting. And then at that point, this is a great opportunity to ask the question, did we meet the need? And depending on, sometimes they say, no, well, do we need to do more work? Or yes, that was so successful, let's do something like that again. Well, then let's tackle the next thing that you want. And so the process can happen over and over and over again. Now, I don't get into all of the questions that I ask for my graphic facilitation, but if you'd like to download this, template, I have it available at Gumroad, and I'll include the link in the video. And when you download that, you'll see I really designed this for graphic designers. I was a graphic designer for 20 years, and I use this same process when I'm developing a logo or a brand for a client. And so you'll see the kind of questions that I ask there when I'm meeting with a client for graphic design, but you can use your own facilitation and your own discovery techniques and apply this if you're a graphic facilitator. That's free, and I would love to hear how you use it. I offer both PDF, and I believe it comes in an Adobe Illustrator and a PowerPoint file. And so the PowerPoint and the Adobe Illustrator are editable, which means you can do them all on the fly, or you can fill it out and present that to your client, or use it for your own files. So, and when I'm finished with my discovery meeting, what I do next is I usually just take this sheet of paper and I fold it in half. And if you're in the US, or even, you know, it would be at 11 by 17. And I learned this trick from Brian Torello. But if you're, so if you fold that in half, it turns into an 8.5 by 11. And then the same goes for like A4, A3 size, right? And so this now becomes a folder. So I can put my client name on the outside here, and I have all of my notes in one place, and I can add more notes to it. And here are my notes from my original meeting with my client. So if you have any questions about this, I also have I think it's about 13 pages, and it's printed out 11 by 17, but I can provide you the PDF of Appreciative Inquiry case studies and activities that I've done using visual or graphic facilitation. So that's available too. Just DM me or email me at heather@heathermartinez.com. All right. Okay. If there's no more questions, I'll be answering a lot more in this Thursday's free lettering sessions. So be sure to check that out. You're welcome to contact me directly, and I will give you the login information and all of the information you need to download all the templates. We're going to be covering 3 lettering styles. Again, it's slab serif, how to create white space that you see behind me here, and also thick and thins. And those are really great for titles and subtitles if you want to use those in your charts. All right. If there's no other questions, thank you for joining me, and stay tuned in the next couple of months when we really dig deep into Neuland hand. All right, thanks guys, bye.